things have I done to engage you guys in the conversations about nature or science?
Questions?
Okay.
You never commented after our answers, which is a strong, the silence is really strong.
What else do I do to get you engaged in what we're talking about?
And the reason I say that is because that allows me, I can see that for kids, allowing kids to feel comfortable because they're not going to be immediately judged or assessed by the teacher.
How long do you think it takes kids to buy into that? I'm hearing like some rumblings. What do those rumblings mean?
We do that. You know, what you have done if your silence is so powerful is that we were told it when we learned, in education classes. We're told about wait time. We're told about it. We're told about it. But we really have to consciously think about it when we're doing it, when we're teaching, because silence sometimes makes us feel uncomfortable, and so we fill it. Sometimes we fill it in ways we didn't intend to, and you maybe give a kid, you say to a kid something that shuts them down, not even knowing it. So you reminded me of something really valuable, and I think done repetitive over several days, it wouldn't take any time at all for your whole class to feel comfortable starting to share.
I'm glad you think that. I want to prepare you for something. I am 9 weeks into my quarter. I mean, we just had the end of first quarter. And there are still some kids who are fighting this system abrasively. I mean, they are like, why don't you just tell us the answers?
Yeah.
And so some kids are like whoa, awesome. We get to talk and we don't have to just listen to them. And, they buy into it right away. Other kids, it takes the entire year. And so it takes stamina. You have to keep going at it. I'm being videotaped right now. That video camera gets used in my classroom a lot because I'm videotaping myself. I actually struggle with wait time too, which is after an answer, waiting again. I tend to jump on that answer and use it in some way. I don't necessarily say whether it's right or wrong. And so I watch myself to see how I'm doing. 3 to 4 seconds is what I'm shooting for. Most teachers think they wait 3 to 4 seconds when it's actually a second or less. Silence is powerful. It's a powerful motivator for us and kids. And we have to resist the motivation. We have to resist the silence and not go into it. How did I get you guys to focus on the nature of science? Because as Abdel Khalik and Letterman said, just history of science is not enough for them to understand the nature of science. How did I get you to focus on the nature of science?
I kind of want to bridge the gap between what we were just talking about and what you're just asking. I think the important theme is you have to teach students why you're doing things. If you're being silent, if you want them to buy in, they have to know, why are you being silent? You want their answers. So that has to be something that has to be taught to them in order for them to buy in. In a similar way, if you want them to understand how science works, you have to actually teach them how science works using historical examples and the nature of science.
Wait time too. And you're supposed to this opening stance. I feel stupid doing it, but it works. And looking at them, and smiling, and looking all around, all that stuff is part of it. It's not just asking you a question and be like, because kids are they're going to look at you laugh, but they're also going to look at you and be like, he doesn't really want my answers. You have to look eager. You have to look really, and then when they answer, it's like, I never thought about that. Kids said the same thing that every other class has said. Really? Why do you think that? And so it's just one of those things, teaching is a lot like acting, in my opinion. But I want to wrestle with this question some more. How did I get you guys to focus on the nature of science after reading that story?
You asked us questions.
What were my questions like?
You asked us questions about how Galileo might have been thinking creatively.
Yeah.
Yes, you kind of went through the list of that you gave us earlier. You talked about observation. You talked about collaboration. You talked about creativity and culture, and you had questions for basically
I use questions to get those points out rather than just telling you that that's how Galileo is acting?
These questions put you in thinking mode.
Students tend to get a lot more from each other than just someone lecturing.
Why do students get more from each other than just from hearing the teacher talk?
They care how they're perceived by their peers.
What else is different about student talking versus teacher talking?
They think the same way.
They may already have a relationship that you may not have with them.
Kind of building out the think the same way, the words they use are similar. A lot of times I'll use words that kids don't understand because I'm not aware they don't have that vocabulary. So if I can get a kid to take my words and put it into their words, that's helpful all around. There's something else I wanted to comment on in there, but I lost it. So, all right. So kind of going back to the teacher actions, which what I did, I was asking questions to draw out the nature of science. So like I asked, how did religious views of the time affect Galileo's work? And then I also asked questions connected to their prior experiences. Don't forget that piece. You got to connect it to something that they know. And that actually, I just remember what I was going to talk about. The developmental learning theory is that we have to, and constructivist learning theory, we have to connect it to things that they already know. We have to think about what they've experienced, what's in their bag of knowledge, and connect the new knowledge to that. But also developmentally, we have to connect it back to, like with the magic trick. This is something you guys have seen. It's a concrete representation of a more abstract idea. And so by going back to the concrete representation, stories are abstract. They're in the mind. They're not something that kids can see. So if you can take the stories and connect it to things that they've experienced for themselves, you're going to help them bridge that developmental level continuum. And then the nonverbal, the wait time, expressions, movement's one thing that we didn't talk about. It's hard to move in this room because of the way it's set up, but I'm walking around all the students, I'm moving around. It's not about me in front of the classroom, it's about the kids having a discussion with each other.